Welcome to the Friends of Delray, a diverse group of Delray Beach residents coming together to build a positive city environment which is open and transparent. Our goal is to inform, share, and unite. Learn about what's happening in our village by the sea, from our pristine beaches to the corridors of City Hall. Hi, I'm Judy Malika, moderator for Friends of Delray podcast and a concerned Delray citizen willing to ask the tough questions of our informed guest and dig deep into the issues relevant to the future of our wonderful city. Friends of Delray has done a deep dive in multiple issues facing Delray. And now in this election season, we wanted to speak to some guests that can speak about the complicated and sometimes contentious issues. And we're very lucky to have two fabulous guests here today. I welcome Miss Yvonne Lee Odom. Miss Odom attended local schools here in Delray and graduated FAU in 1968. She earned her master's degree from Nova Southeast. She married her high school sweetheart, and she's still married to Eddie Odom Jr., who people call Red. And Miss Odom taught in school here in Delray for 45 years. She's been involved in the community her entire life. She's currently the president of the Delray Beach Community Development Corporation, but mostly I see Miss Odom everywhere and doesn't even need an introduction because she is so well known in our city. We have another pillar in our community joining us here today, Connor Lynch. Connor grew up here in Delray Beach and attended school here in Delray. He is the CEO of Plastridge Insurance, and he's the third generation here at Plastridge, which is celebrating being founded here in Delray Beach 104 years ago. Congratulations on that. Connor's very involved in the city. He was on the chamber board, chaired planning and zoning board. He was chair of SPRAB, and currently he's on 7 different boards, but there were so many I didn't want to list them all here today. But I welcome you both here. Thank you very, very much. This is another hot election. And Connor, I'm going to start with you. You grew up here, and your dad was a mayor. And I just wondered, what do you feel the tone of the city is, and what do you feel the direction we should be going in?
Well, I think it's a great question. I think the tone of the city, clearly there are issues happening. Every city goes through times of having issues, but we've had a ton of staff turnover. And what I've noticed as a change throughout my life of following politics and being involved in politics in Delray is, even if there were political differences, it felt to me that there was an overarching desire to bring people together, to listen to all sides, to communicate even if you didn't agree.
Okay.
And I feel like that's probably the biggest thing that's changed. I feel now there's probably 3 or 4 out of the 5 commissioners that might not even take my phone call and be willing to speak openly, even if we disagree on political items. And to me, that sets the tone. And I'm a big believer in kind of the top sets the tone for the entire city. And if the commission, has that kind of disregard for the community members that have been involved for a long time, then I think that filters throughout, and it probably makes it very hard to be staff or other positions within the city. And not knowing how much community outreach you can do or should do, and whether that will backlash. And there just feels like there's an overall retaliatory feeling if people act in certain ways.
Like political retribution?
I believe that could be possible. I think there are a lot of people, whenever there's kind of a contentious feeling to any organization, I think that it has a lot of people freeze and feel like they can't take a lot of actions that would be good. Usually, when the top is very engaged in the community, then all sorts of people and organizations are out there trying to move forward the mission of what's good for the city.
You were working on 7 different boards.
Yeah.
And then you chaired several boards that are so important to moving the city forward, yet you feel like ineffective or non-listened to, I guess.
I feel like every organization that I've sat in meetings on, whether I'm on their board or not, I think there are a lot of organizations that feel like it's like walking on eggshells to an extent. They want to be a part of the city. They want to see the city move forward in a good way, and they don't want to take any action that they feel could then hurt them later based on commission moves. And we've seen a lot of political moves towards nonprofits and other organizations over the last few years. And I think that that's unfortunate.
I think you're describing a culture of fear. Because
Right.
I've kind of heard that in a different,
Absolutely.
from different people, and I think that's what you're describing. So you grew up going to chamber meetings, right? I mean,
And city
you
commission meetings, really.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you've definitely seen a change, and you'd like to see a change again.
I would, and I was a part of all the vision processes for the city, the town hall meetings. I was a part of the All America City Award. I was one of the kids that attended when we first received it, and seeing that and how the community came together, it was always such a positive thing. And I believe that we're missing that common direction forward. It's okay to have differences, but it's important to keep bringing people together to create a common vision so that we can all work towards it together in a way that moves the city forward. Like, changes happen, but I think it's important for us to find ways to move forward that aren't so divisive.
And don't be afraid to look back and see what worked, right?
Exactly, and talk
I mean,
to
if
the
something
people,
worked, let's
and talk to the people who were there at the time.
Right.
You know,
right.
there are a lot of incredible people in this city that have been involved in different parts of its timeline.
Mhm.
And to me, there seems to be a disconnect. I talk to past mayors, not just my dad, but others. I talk to other people in the community that I've looked up to and respected my whole life, most of whom say they don't know what's happening. They haven't been reached out to. There's no communication in taking some of what we learned and using that history and knowledge and wisdom to help us avoid those same landmines again in the future.
I think we should shut down Facebook, shut down email, and just
Yeah.
start calling people again, right?
It would help.
Miss Odom, I'm going to put my sights on you now.
Yes.
You've been involved with Friends of Delray from the very, very beginning, and we appreciate you. I know that you've attended the debates, and you're intimately familiar with Delray's politics for decades. I'm not going to say how many decades. Like, what's your takeaway as Election Day approaches? Like, what should voters be considering when they fill out their ballots? What is your feeling about?
Well, my first thing is I want to encourage everybody to actually vote. It's
Absolutely.
very important.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not sure, call somebody that you trust and just ask them. It's
Mhm.
important that we turn out. But what I'm disappointed is because I've been in Delray long enough to remember how it was. Even in our segregated days, we had that mutual respect. It's important that we continue that. And I have been extremely disappointed in how the direction of the city has gone because we are selective into who we talk about. And that never works, especially in a city so diverse as Delray Beach, people who have been here and involved and feel like they're outsiders in their own town. And it just really disappoints me to see what's happening now because I've lived here my entire adult life. And as I said before, even in the segregated days, the mutual respect that even the white citizens had for the black citizens helped move us forward.
Right.
Now, and I can speak from personal experience because I'm president of a board that was already involved, and now we are politically like ostracized. Can't even talk, and that's disappointing. So to me, when you're going to the ballot, think about that. We do need a change. I'm not going to tell you who to vote unless you call me and ask me personally.
Or drive by your
But
house
I'll
and see
drive by
those
my
big
house.
signs.
That'll help. But I just think it's important that you all get involved and understand that just because we disagree, we don't have to be vindictive. We don't have to feel afraid to say our opinion. You just think about it. That's how America has always been around and survived because we've been able to disagree, but we don't take our ball and go home.
Right.
Or we don't take and stab somebody in the back because they disagreed and now I'm in charge, so I'm going to fire you. See, that's
right.
what I have observed in Delray, and it is very disappointing. I've raised my children here, my grandchildren. I love this town, and one of these days I'll probably be buried over there on 8. But I really do encourage you to vote because that's what we have to do. When somebody is sitting up there, they should be representing the entire city. Now, of course, they're not going to always agree with you, but you have the right to be listened to. And you have the right to have your opinion without it costing you your job or your reputation.
Right.
And I am very disappointed in what I see. So that's the
You know,
main
one of the
thing.
things, first of all, I'm looking
Yes.
at two people here that would be fabulous city commissioners. Am I right?
Believe
But-
it or not, we were against each other
No,
for
were you?
appointment. Yes,
how
and we
funny.
kind of get deadlocked.
How funny.
And they'd rather see an empty seat than appoint
But
somebody.
what
so.
happens, I think, is it's the water has gotten so dirty that really qualified people don't even want to throw their hat in
Because of the vindictiveness.
who wants
That's what
to
I
put
don't
them-
like, you
yeah,
know. So,
yeah.
but I'm a tough person. I
know
really
you are.
am.
I
So
know you are.
I'm going to be in Delray no matter what.
Okay.
But I still encourage citizens, especially newbies.
Get involved.
Yeah, get involved. It's so important. That's what made our city the all-American city. I think we could be the example for so many because, too, of our race relations, too, and how we have avoided riots and even when we had a young man killed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
because of relationship, the mayor of the city at the time reached out to the community who knew this young man. And we were able to, come together.
Mhm.
We were able to resolve issues. We got some things done. And I just warn people, look, we're not going anywhere. We might sometimes have to tread water, but
Right.
we're not going anywhere. So please get involved and
Okay.
vote.
All right. Thank you very much, both of you. Once again, this is Judy Malika with Friends of Delray. I'd like to introduce my producer on our podcast and videocast. It's Jim Chard, who needs no introduction, but Jim does everything in Delray Beach. Past city commissioner, I think on every board, pretty much all the forward motion that we see that involves the community, Jim either chaired or is involved with. So thanks for all you do. And thanks for doing this with us. And we've covered some good things.
Well, I'm one of your big fans.
Well, obviously we use me for the camera because I'm cuter than he is. But we've been able to get some amazing guests on to cover issues from turnover in City Hall to water to the general obligation bond, golf
course.
Yeah. So
housing, education. Yeah.
yeah, but we a lot of people. I know we were talking about election in this series, but a lot of people thought that we formed to back a particular person. That is not the case. Friends of Delray formed before anybody had even signed up to be to run. Maybe I don't know. One of them probably signed up early, but.
I think there were a bunch of people who came together that recognized that Delray was going through change, and it's a complex change. We have a changing population, changing technology. We had the pandemic, and these sorts of things really require serious study and people who can work together. So roughly about 30 of us, I think, came together, and we decided that what we wanted to do was really discuss issues, that we wanted to be part of the process of getting the citizenry involved in these significant issues.
Again. Because it seems to me there used to be more engagement, and now either the citizens are cut out, they're not invited in, or they just don't know to be invited in. But we need the citizens to keep the village by the sea.
One of the things that you and I kept hearing, listening to these really wonderful people, was going back and thinking about what was done before in town hall meetings and the decade of excellence of going around to the neighborhoods or bringing everybody to Old School Square and thrashing these things through. I remember an effort that took a whole week where the city was invited in to talk about what to do if a commuter rail came in behind Johnny Brown's. And we had economists there who would chart what would happen financially. We had traffic planners, and the citizens were able to specify what they wanted. Unfortunately, that plan is like many others. It's sitting on a shelf.
That's what I hear over and over, a recurring theme of the city spent money to find out and do a study and perhaps come up with a solution, and it sits up on a shelf getting dusted off. I heard in a recent debate, actually, because I've been listening to debates, one of the commissioners said, people are allowed to come and speak at the city commission meetings. I'm sorry, you get 3 minutes, and you better not say anything wrong, you're going to get scolded.
And you better come at 4 o'clock.
But that's right, it's so early. But also there's no interaction. So I think the idea of town halls with interaction and interaction with citizen, and then, of course, have the commissioners and city manager there as well. It's
To
a great
put a
idea.
point on what you're just saying,
Mhm.
we do have workshops.
Mhm.
And quite a few of the issues that we have talked about here have been workshopped. But guess what?
We're not allowed to talk at
We're
those.
not allowed to talk.
You're just allowed to look.
You want to sit there and,
Right.
let me talk. But I think that citizen engagement, and particularly as we heard, we have a great deal of diversity in this city, racially, economically,
Mhm.
background, old generations, new generations. And if we don't accommodate all of those different elements in this 4x4 square mile area, we have serious problems.
We do. So, you've been around a long time. What do you think about this culture of fear that I keep hearing over and over? Like, I see it even when I'm at a city office. It's like they're afraid.
Mhm.
People are afraid to do something wrong. Like, where did that come from?
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned I'm on a few boards or in a few
Yeah.
not-for-profit activities. I run into that all the time.
Yeah.
I hear that from city staff who say,
Mhm.
well, we can't talk about that. Or I see it in the turnover of the staff, or I do a lot with not-for-profits.
Okay.
And the not-for-profits tiptoe around these issues
Right.
because they don't want to be the next organization that gets in the gun sights.
Wow. Well, we are two of many friends of Delray, just kind of letting you know why we started doing what we're doing. And Jim, thanks for everything. that
You
do.
might mention that we intend to be around next year, and we would like
Of course.
all
We're not
of the
going
people
anywhere.
who
Like Miss
read,
Odom said, we're not going anywhere.
all the people who read our emails,
That's
our
right.
text messages,
That's right.
our YouTubes, our videos,
Well, the
should
number-
stay tuned because
Yeah, and the number of responses we've gotten from those, via email, saying they want to be involved too. So that's the town hall. That's the structure for the town
exactly,
hall.
exactly.
We're all friends of Delray. That's all we're trying to do here.
And I want to thank you for all you've been doing. I know you've given up a big part of your life in the last year.
Yeah, husband, what husband? Sorry.
And I look forward to working with you again after this election.
All right, terrific.
All right.
Thank you. I'm Judy Malika for Friends of Delray. Please let your voices be heard, get engaged, talk with neighbors, and attend city meetings, and watch for our next podcast or video. We believe Delray is at its best when we're stronger together. Thank you for joining Friends of Delray, addressing the relevant issues facing our community. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and please sign up for our newsletter at our website, friendsofdelray.us. We believe Delray is at its best when we work together.